Okay, welcome to this lesson, this video lesson about modeling real-life phenomena. And this is about quadratic models, second degrees equations and graph that describes real-life phenomena. And in this example, this exercise, we will look on economy and selling tennis shoes. If you want to sell pairs of tennis shoes, what will the revenue be? So, let me show you. If you are selling tennis shoes, then you have to put a price on your shoes. Well, let's call the price P, and it's in kronor. And you have to sell a quantity of shoes, a number of pairs sold. So we call it number of pairs sold. That's my tennis shoes. And the number, well, let's call it Q, like in quantity, number of pairs sold. Now, in this very simple and maybe childish example, how many pairs we are selling depends on the price we put on the pair of shoes. Because if we have a very low price, then we will sell many shoes. If we have a high price, we will sell fewer of the shoes. If we have a very high price, we will sell no shoes at all. And in this example, the number of pairs sold is 2,000 minus the price. And if you think this is going too fast, you can take a pause, as always in these videos. And then you can write it down in your notebook so you remember this. Now, let's look on the revenue, the income for selling shoes. The revenue, we call it R, is the price for every pair of shoes multiplied with how many pairs you are selling. That is Q. The price times the quantity of shoes you are selling. But now, in this case, the quantity depends on the price. So instead of Q for quantity, we write it as 2,000 minus the price. And we need a brackets around this. Because now I will show you that this will be a quadratic model. Because according to the distributive law, you will multiply both terms inside the brackets with P here. So the revenue is 2,000P minus P squared. Okay, now we see it's a second degrees equation that describes the revenue. Okay, so I will see how it looks as a graph. So I take my calculator and you take yours, and we try to sketch it, see how it looks like. So I have an old function here, so I take it away. And then I write 2,000 times P. Now, with the calculator, it's X minus X squared. And I have to choose a window that's okay now. Otherwise, I won't see anything. So I go to window. And I can't have any negatives value for X. X is the price. I can't sell shoes for negative 5 crowns. So 0 is good. Now, the max price I can have is 2,000. Otherwise, I would have a negative quantity here. I can't have any negative values for the price. Because let's in one example say that I have the price 3,000 for every pair. Then I will have 2,000 minus 3,000. That's a negative number. We can't sell negative amount of shoes. So the maximum value is 2,000. The scale Doesn't matter. Normally, I take 1/10 of the difference between the x min and x max. If you want to, I can do it here, 200. It doesn't matter. Y min. Y is the revenue. Can't be negative in this case. The maximum income or revenue. I don't know what it will be. But I can change it if I don't see a good graph. So let's try with 100,000. Could that be my revenue? Well, let's test it by pressing graph. I don't see a good curve. I see something here, and I think I see something here. So probably we will have a top somewhere here. So I have to change the Y max, the maximum income. So I press 6 zeros, 1 million instead, and then press graph. Okay, so we see here the revenue when you are selling tennis shoes for different prices. And we see that if you have a very low price for your shoes, then you won't have that high revenue, because every pair of shoes don't gives you that much money. If you have a high price on your shoes, that's good for every pair of shoes you're selling, but you're not selling that many shoes. So you're supposed to choose a value somewhere here to find the maximum income. So if we sketch this graph, it looks something like this. So we have the revenue here, and we have the price for the shoes here. And it looks something like this. And we understand that this is the maximum price I can take for my shoes. And I will show you that you could calculate it as well. So, question A. For what price should you expect to sell no shoes? Well, I told you it's 2,000, but how do you know? Well, no shoes. Number of pairs sold, that's no shoes. That depends on the price. So Q is equal to 2,000 minus the price. Now, if you have no shoes to sell, then Q has to be 0. And then you have 2,000 minus the price. Well, this is an equation. And the solution for the equation is that the price has to be 2,000. Because 2,000 minus 2,000 is 0. So if you have the price 2,000 crowns, then you can expect to sell no shoes. Okay. The big question on this. What price gives you the maximum revenue? And that is question. Well, you understand that we will find the maximum revenue here. And you have to find the price that gives us the maximum value. Well, something very beautiful with second degrees graphs, it is that there is a line that cuts this graph into two pieces that's equal. We have a symmetry around it. So this is the axis of symmetry. We have to find that axis. So now it's the price sim we have to find. And the formula for it is minus b divided with 2a. So we need to understand that there is two constants that gives us the symmetry line, b and a. So in this case, B is the constant 2000, and A is the constant before the squared the squared independent variable, and that is P here. So minus B is 2000, and I divide it with 2 times A, and A is negative 1. It is a 1 here in front of it, and it's negative. So if I calculate this, and you don't need your calculator for doing that, negative and negative cancel each other out, so it has to be positive. You don't have to multiply with 1. So we have 2000 divided with 2. That is 1000 kronor. It's the unit for it. And it makes sense because 1000 is in the middle between 0 and 2000. So 2000 is a good average price you should take for selling, for have as a high revenue as possible. If you take a higher price for the shoes than 1000, then you will sell too few of them. You will have a good price for every pair of shoes, but selling very few of them. If you have a lower price, you will sell more shoes, but you will earn less for every pair of shoes sold. Now, let's find the revenue maximum. And that is equal to, now I take the symmetry line and put it inside the formula for the revenue. So 2000, multiply it with 1000, that is P, 1000, minus 1000 squared. So R maximum, and you use your calculator, and you will get 1 million crowns in revenue for these shoes. And of course, you can find it with your calculator as well, the maximum value here. You calculate it. So you press blue and trace the maximum on 4, go down there, left bound. So you take the arrow and stand to the left side of the maximum value. Press enter. The right bound, you go with the arrow to the right side of the maximum value, somewhere there, and press enter. Guess if you just have one line like this, you just press enter. And then the maximum value, you have it when X is 1000, the same as we do. And the maximum revenue is then 1 million. So the modeling works here. Okay, thank you.